Hi kids, welcome to Math with Mrs. Cavanis. Before we start lesson 5 today, we're going to be using your hide zero cards that I had you put aside yesterday. So it was the lesson 4 template. You're looking for page 17 and page 19. They look like this. And we'll also be using the hundreds, tens, and ones chart from yesterday as well. In addition to these things, you can either watch me and follow along as I place things on my hundreds, tens, and ones chart. But if you'd like to, you can go push pause and look for things around your house that you can place on this. I'm using these coffee pots that look like circles in different colors to show hundreds, tens, and ones. But you could use things like Legos in different colors, anything that's small that would fit on the hundreds, tens, and ones chart to represent our 3-digit numbers. And if you don't want to push pause and go find stuff like that, that's okay. You can follow along with me and my hundreds chart. Okay, so let's get started. You're also going to want a Ziploc bag or something or an envelope or something to place your hide zero cards in. We're going to be using these for a few lessons. And when we're all done with that, we'll pull out the lesson 5 from our book. So for now, you just need these 2 templates, the hundreds, tens, and ones chart, and something to place your cards in. All right. And these scissors. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting these out and making little cards out of them. So this 100 will be cut out completely. This 10 will be cut out completely. And this 1 will be cut out completely. Now, as we cut them out, I'm going to kind of keep mine organized by the hundreds and the tens and the ones so that they're easier to find. So you're going to want to kind of get yourself some space. I'm going to move my little circles I'm using as hundreds, tens, and ones out of the way so I can place my cards as I cut them out over here on the side. And I'm going to just put hundreds and tens and ones to keep them organized. So go ahead and begin. Basically, you just want to make sure that you don't cut on anything that's not a line. So all the lines we're going to be cutting on. And it's not like our meter strip where we needed to leave space to glue it together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut around all of my hundreds first, but you can do it however you'd like. In this chapter or module, we are looking at place value, and these cards help us to kind of see place value a little bit better. Remember when you're done to throw your scraps of paper away so that your parents don't have to pick it for you. Okay, so I'm going to lay those out now. I have 100, 200, 300. I know you can't see my cards. My little camera can't see that far over. That's okay. You don't need to see mine unless you would like a peek at them. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. Okay, on the other page, this page, I have 700, 800, 900. We use these when we do this lesson in class together also, except your Ziploc-y with them in it goes in your desk. Here's my garbage. Okay, I have 700, 800, 900. Now I'm going to move on to my tens place. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. I'm going to go ahead and cut out around the edge, and then I'll go back and cut off the ones. And if you mess up, it's not the end of the world. If we were in the classroom and you messed up, Miss Cavanis, I messed up. I would just say, well, be a good problem solver and figure out how to fix it the best you can. Okay, so I put my ones over here, and now I'm going to cut all my tens apart. I'm going backwards. 90, 80, 70. I'm going to lay these out. 90, 80, 70. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. So see, I'm just laying them out over there on the side of my table in my workspace where I'm working. Okay, now I just have my ones to cut out. I'm going to go backwards again. I thought backwards was fun. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to lay these out. Basically, I'm just laying them out so that when we go to do our problems together and I need to find a specific number, I can find it easily because I laid them out in order. It's not a huge deal. If yours aren't perfectly in order, you'll just have to do some searching with your eyes when I call it a number. Okay. Like I said, I have a Ziploc. You can have an envelope or whatever you'd like to put them in to keep them safe when we're not using them so that you can pull them out for a different lesson. This is our hundreds, tens, and ones chart. So they gave you one in your book. It was on page 21 in your book. Remember that if I start saying things and you don't have them, you can always push pause and go look for it. If for some reason you threw this away and you don't have it, guess what? It's really simple. You just get a white piece of paper and you can write hundreds, tens, and ones at the top and give yourself 3 lines. And ta-da! Okay, we're working on something called, place value, place value, place value, place value. Very important. How much are numbers worth? That really helps you as you get older and you do harder and harder math if you really understand the concept of place value. So we're going to be looking today at some 3-digit numbers, and we're going to look to see what do those numbers actually mean. So the first one that we're going to do is the number 351. So if you did grab things to put on your hundreds chart, go ahead and place 351 on yours. If you didn't grab anything, just watch. Have your hundreds chart out and just watch us put stuff on it. So hundreds, 351. So 300s. Okay, how many tens are in 351? 5 tens. These are Mrs. Cavanice's little coffee pods, but I think that they made really cool hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay, 350, and then how many ones are in 351? Just one little one. Okay, so now here's the fun part with our new cards that we just cut out. 351. What I want you to do, how much is this 3 here worth the same as if there were 3 in this spot? They're not worth the same. A 3 in the 10 spot would only be worth 30. How much is a 3 in the hundreds place worth? A 3 in the hundreds place means 300. So it is worth 300s. So what you want to do right now is find your 300s card. These are called hide zero cards. And go ahead and stick that right underneath your hundreds chart where your hundreds are. Let me get myself some space here. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and put that 300 right there. Let me get rid of this other hundreds chart so all these numbers don't confuse you. We don't need that right now. Okay, so I hope you found your card that says 300. Remember, if I go too fast for you, you can push pause and look for things slower and then push play when you're ready. So 300. All right. How many do we have here in the tens place for 351? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens. And how much is 5 tens worth? So 5 tens is not worth 500. It's in the tens place. How much is 5 tens worth? Hopefully you know that 5 tens is worth 50. 5 tens, remember that trick I told you when you heard tens, you just put a 0 after the word. So 5 tens, you put a 5 with a 0 after it. Okay. Find your 50 right now for 5 tens and put it right there underneath our tens place. So far we have a 3 in the hundreds place, which stands for 300, and a 5 in the tens place, which stands for 50. And now we have 1 here in the ones place. And how much is that 1 worth? Is it 100? Is it a 10? Or is it just a 1, 1, 1? It's just worth 1, 1. So now you're going to find your 1, 1. Okay, so 351 looks like this if you wrote it out on paper. You don't need to write this out. I just wanted you to see this. So 351 is the same as saying 300, which is that, plus 50, which is that, plus 1, 1, right? So the cool thing about these hide zero cards is that you can take those 3 numbers and you put them together and see what you get. So 50 has a 0 in the tens place, a 0 in the ones place, and a 5 in the tens place. So look, there's the tens place and the ones place. And then you can take your 1, 1, place it in the ones place, and it makes 351. Isn't that really cool? I love these cards. So let's break them apart again. 351 is 350 and 1. And the reason that I'm going to all the trouble of showing you that is because when we do our problem set and our homework page today, they're going to be asking us to make a number bond. Again, you don't need to write this part, just watch me. They're going to be asking us to make a number bond. And if we have the number 351, we're going to be pulling out those parts and showing part plus part plus part equals whole. So these are our parts to this number. If we were to break 351 up into unit parts, it would be 350 and 1. Not so bad, right? Let's do another one. Okay, I'm going to get these off of here so I can make a new number. And I'm going to put these guys back so I can make a new number. Again, I just used something I found in my house so that you could see that you could find something in your house that would fit on your hundreds chart as well. Okay, pennies would work too. Okay, next one I'm going to have us make is, let's do 272. So how many hundreds in 272? 2 hundreds. How many tens in 272? 7 tens in 272. Do you see what I did there? I put it in a row of 5, and then the next 2 I put up here. So when we do our hundreds charts or our tens frames, we always try to go in rows of 5 to fill up 5. It's just an easy way to kind of look at it. So 272, we have 2 hundreds, 7 tens, 272. How many ones? 2 ones. So 272. Hooray! Okay, now's the fun part. You get to look over at your hide zero cards. You're going to find 200 because that's how much our hundreds place is worth. So those 2 little circles there in the hundreds place are worth 200. In our tens place, we have 7 tens. And what is the number for 7 tens? How much is that worth? 7 tens. 70. And in our ones place, we have 2 ones. And how much is that worth? It is 2 ones. Oh, you can't see I have a little red dot in the way, huh? You can't see this one. Okay, hopefully you found your cards that say 272. So if we were going to draw that as a number bond, our whole would be 272, and our parts would be 270 and 2. So when you put those together, go ahead and do the fun, tricky part now. If you take the 70 and the 2, and we lay them on our 200 card, it makes 272. And we go to decompose that or take it apart, it's 272. All right, let's do one more for practice, and then we will move along to our actual problem set. Aren't these fun? I love the days in class when we get to actually like hold things and move them around, and that's always my favorite, When I was a kid, that's how I learned the best, was by actually putting things and messing with cards and stuff like that. Okay, our next one, let's do 250. 250. So how many hundreds do you hear in 250? There are 2 hundreds in 250. How many tens do you hear in 250? There are 5 tens in 250. And how many ones are there in 250? Kind of a trick question. There's no ones in 250. Okay, 0 ones. All right, so now let's work on putting that number together. So how much is the 2 in the hundreds place worth? It's worth 200. And how much are our 5 tens in our tens place worth? There's 5 in there. Remember, 5 tens, those are worth 50. Okay, so we're going to put our 50 here. And there are no ones, so we're not going to put anything over here in the ones place. So if 250 was our whole, our parts would be 250, but no ones. So let's go ahead and do the piece where we put these together. Take your 50 and put it on your 200. And look, we have 250. So no ones, 5 tens, and 2 hundreds, just like we showed here in our hundreds chart. So 250 makes 250. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Really important to keep practicing our place value, and that 2 in the hundreds place doesn't just stand for a 2, it's a 200, right? Okay, so let's get rid of that. What I want you to do is put those to the side for now, but not clean them up, just kind of push them over to the side. And I want you to find problem set 5 now. So 5 is on page 23. 23 and 25 and 27 are your 3 pages for today. Okay. All right, now this is the page that I want you to turn in for your homework today. So go ahead and cross out problem set like I have you do sometimes and put the word HW at the top for homework. Okay, so we're going to put that to the side for now. We're going to use that last. And the word homework, you can cross out and put PS for problem set. This page, the template page, we're going to need that with our homework. So you're going to go ahead and pass that over to the homework page. So right now, this is what I want out for now. So it's page 25. It says lesson 5 homework at the top. I crossed it out and put PS for problem set. Okay, so we're going to do this one together. Sometimes I know you're like, Ms. Cavanis, why do you do that and switching on us? Well, because this one is a better one to do together, and the other one's a little bit easier for you to be able to do on your own, and that way you can show me what you've learned on that other page there. Okay, so what is the value of the 7 in 767? So they're wanting us to look there at that 7 in the 767. So go ahead and use your hide 0 cards and build that number 764. So go ahead and build that. So you want to build the 700 and the 60 and the 4. So go ahead and find those cards in your pile over there. 760 and 4. Okay, see how ours matches theirs? We have a 7 and a 6 and a 4. All right, and we're looking for what is the value of the 7. So let's get rid of the other cards now and see what is the value of our 7. Is it worth just 7? Is it worth 70? Or is it worth 700? What do you think? What is that value? Hopefully you said 700, because the value of that 7 right there, he's worth 700, which is a much bigger number than 7 or 70. It's in the hundreds place, which tells us it's worth 700. Okay, number 2, make number bonds to show the hundreds, tens, and ones in each number. Then write the number in unit form. So really important when you go to do math and Mrs. Cavanis isn't with you, that you always look at the example. So sometimes they do problem 1 for you, sometimes they give you an example, but that example is really important to look at because it tells you what you're trying to do for your problem. So I can see here that I want mine to look like the example. So I want to have a whole and 3 parts. I'm going to put circles around my parts just because that's how we normally do it. You can see they didn't. I'm afraid my numbers will get squished together. And then when it asks for unit form, you can see here what unit form means in the example. So they have unit form as 2 and the word hundreds, 6 tens, 3 ones. So you're going to be asked to do unit form quite a bit. And you need to try to remember what that is. When we do assessments at the end of the trimester, they're going to give you some numbers and ask you to write them in unit form. So unit form means you're going to name off like you would on the place value chart, 2 hundreds, 6 tens, 3 ones, like that. So let's go ahead and look at the problem that they'd like for us to do. So 333, go ahead and find those in your hide zero cards. So 333. Okay, so we built that number just like it shows up there. And that's going to be our whole. So 333 is our whole. And now our job is to break it apart into parts. So I'm going to put it above so my hand doesn't mess it up. So I'm going to take those apart into pieces here. And so my parts, what's my first part going to be? 300. And my next part, 30. My last part is 3. And the reason they picked this for you for the first problem is because it's the same number, 3, 3, and 3, but each of those 3 stands for something very different. If somebody asked you if you could eat 3 cookies, your answer might be yes. But if they asked you if you could eat 300 cookies, not very many of us could eat 300 cookies, right? So the difference between 3 and 300 is quite a bit. All right, which is why place value is really important. Now we're going to write it out in unit form. So they gave us an example here and we're going to follow that. So they had 2 hundreds for this number. So that's what we're going to do. How many hundreds do we have in our number? 3. And then we need to write out the word hundreds. H-U-N, hun, and then D-R-E-D-S. Now on the assessment, if you misspell the word hundreds, since it's written on your assessment page when we go to do those at the end of the trimester, you actually get the whole problem wrong. So when words are spelled for you on pages, you want to make sure you look back at that word and spell it correctly, okay? So since that word is right there for us, we want to make sure we spell it right. All right, 300s. How many tens are in our number here that we were decomposing? We have 3 tens, not 30 tens. We have 3 tens. We want to write 3 and then the word tens. So okay, 3 tens. And then how many ones do we have? Well, we have 3 O-N-E-S for ones. Great job. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is the number 330. So go ahead and get your hide zero cards and build that number 330. We're going to be doing a number bond for it. So our whole is the number they asked us to write, so 330. And my parts, now I only need 2 parts on this one because I only used 2 cards to build it, right? This one didn't take 3 parts. It only needed 2 parts. So 330 is my whole, and my parts, I'm going to go ahead and take these apart, 330, and my parts are 330. 330. And now our job is to write it out in unit form. So we have how many in the hundreds place? 3 hundreds. How many tens do we have? 3 tens. Now I don't need to write a 0 for ones. We know that 3 hundreds and 3 tens stands for 330 without needing to write that there's no ones. All right, next one. Look, it's all the same numbers as our last number we built, but 330 and 303 are really different numbers, right? So let's build 303. Go ahead and get your hide zero cards, and we're going to build 303. Let's get our number bond drawn. Now, we didn't use 3 parts. We only needed 2 for this one also, right? We only used 2 cards, so 2 parts. Our number is 303. And let's go ahead and take those cards apart. And what are our parts now? We had 303, and we took them apart, and our parts are 303. So that's what we want to write here, 303. All right, and now all that's left for this problem is to write it out in word form. So how many hundreds do we have? 3 hundreds. Okay, and how many tens do we have? We don't have any tens, do we? And how many ones do we have? 3 ones. Great job. Are you so proud of yourself? Isn't that fun to use the hide zero cards? All right, let's go ahead and pancake flip our paper over. So we're on page 26. It says draw a line. Remember, we always read the directions first before we just start doing it. Draw a line to match unit form with number form. Over here, you have unit form like we just learned. It's 100, 1, 1, so unit form. And over here, we have number form, and we need to match the two together. So let's look. 100, so we're going to get our 100 hide zero card. 100 and 1, 1. So 1, 1. Okay. And what number does that make? 101, which I can see right here. So we're going to do our best to draw a nice straight line from there to there. Okay, next one. I'm going to put these back. 110 and 1, 1. So now I need to get 110, which is 10, and 1, 1, which is 1. And what number does 110 and 1, 1 make? It makes 11. So let's draw our best nice straight line from 110 and 1, 1 to the 11. Next is 7 tens and 1, 1. So I'm going to get rid of my 110. I need 7 tens. 7 tens and 1, 1. When I put those together, what do I get? 71. So we want to draw a line from here to the 71, straight as we can. Okay, next one, 7 hundreds and 1, 1. So not 7 tens this time, 7 hundreds and 1, 1. Okay, and we put those together in the hide zero cards. What do we get? 701. So we want to take our line and go straight across the best we can. Next one, remember to push pause on the video if I'm going too fast for you so you can find your cards as well. 100, 110. So find your 100 and your 110. Okay, when we put those together, what number do we get? 110. So let's find the one that looks like that and draw our best straight line. And now there's only one left, so let's make sure it matches so we know that we did the other ones correctly. 700s, 110s. So find your 700s, find your 110. Okay. And what number does that make? 710. Let's draw a nice straight line up to our last one. All right. You did a great job. So that is it for your problem set with me today. Now let's look at the homework page that you're going to be turning in. So for the homework page, you are going to need this template. So lesson 5 template, it's on page 27. And you're going to need the problem set, which I crossed out and called homework now, page 23. So page 23 and page 27. All right, your teacher will tell you a number to write in each box. In a whisper voice, say each number in word form. Use number bonds to show how many ones, tens, and hundreds are in the number. So I'm going to do an example one with you. Don't write this on your paper. Let's pretend this is one of these boxes. You're not going to write this one. This is just to show you what I want you to do for the homework. Let's pretend Mrs. Cavanis gave me the number 724. Okay, I'm going to write it in the box while she's telling me the number to write. I'm going to write that number in the box, okay? Then when I turn off the video, I am going to complete this homework page by saying to myself, 700s, 2 10s, 4 1s. I'm going to make myself a number bond and use my hide zero cards. 724. Okay. I'm going to make sure it matches that number that she had me write up there in the top. And it does. So in my hole, I'm going to put 724, and then I'm going to give myself 3 parts. Okay. And I'm going to be writing those 3 parts in the circles. Okay. So 724. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to write the word form. You just need to be writing the number bond for each of the 4 numbers I'm going to give you. So I want you to use your hide zero cards on your own without me. And I want you to write each of the numbers I'm going to give you in a number bond. Okay. When you're done with your homework page and you're ready to turn it in, I need you to take your hide zero cards. I need you to put them nice and safely in a Ziploc or an envelope to use later with me. Okay, so make sure you have this out right now. I'm going to give you the 4 numbers that I need you to write in your boxes. And then I'm going to shut off the video so that you can go work on this alone. And this is what you're turning in to me today. In this first box, do you have your pencil and you're ready? I am not going to write the numbers because I need to know that you can hear a number and write it down. So up here in the top of this box, you're going to write the number I give you. You're going to use your hide zero cards to build it, and you're going to make a number bond for that number. Okay. Same for this one. I'm going to give you a number, and you, after you shut off the video, are going to use your hide zero cards to make that number into a number bond. Okay. Are you ready? This first box, I want you to write the number 634. So go ahead right now with your pencil, write 634. 634. Okay, and then when you turn off the videos, when you'll use your hide zero cards and fill in your number bond. Okay, next box, I want you to write the number 825. 825 in that second box. Okay, down here in the third box, I want you to write the number 142. So right here in this box, 142. And the last box, remember, if I went too fast, you can rewind the video and listen to what that number was again. In the last box here, I want you to write the number 999. It's the number that comes before 1,000, so it's kind of a cool number. So 999 is what I want you to write in this box, okay? So that's it for your homework page today, just this one right here. You're gonna go fill in your number bonds with using your hide zero cards. When you're done, you're going to take those hide zero cards and you're going to put them in something that you can find later. I'm using a Ziploc. I'm also going to take my hundreds chart and I'm going to fold it so that it will fit in my Ziploc bag as well, or you can slide it into maybe your folder or your book to use later also. If you are bored tonight and want to practice numbers, you can say, Mom, give me a 3-digit number. Grandpa, ask me to make a 3-digit number. And then when they tell you the number, you can get out your hide zero cards and make it and say, okay, check it. Did I do it right? So anyway, that's all. I hope that you enjoyed math today, and I hope that you are having a fun time with place value, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.